I'm making gourmet tomato soup. My family loves to eat this with grilled cheese sandwiches as well as tortellini. Just super good, basic, all-around tomato soup. It does not taste like Campbell's tomato soup, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I actually love Campbell's tomato soup, but this has its own taste signature. So if you're expecting it to taste the same, it doesn't, but I think you're gonna love it. I've already quartered my tomatoes, used a food processor to cut my onions really fine, to cut my celery really fine, my sweet peppers, and my carrots. I first need to soften all of my vegetables. So I'll put 13 pounds of tomatoes, 4 onions, 2.5 cups of celery, 2 cups of sweet pepper, 1 cup of carrots, and 7 bay leaves. Those all go in the pot and simmer until they're soft. Usually for me, it's about 20 minutes once it starts a full simmer. With my vegetables soft, I just go ahead and I put them in my food mill. This is a great system. I have my food mill set up. I have my honey strainer that catches all of the pulp. And then I have the bucket that catches all of the juice. The nice thing about this is I won't have to cook down the soup for quite as long because it'll be really thick. In fact, I'll have to add some of the juice back to it. Otherwise, you're looking at multiple hours of cooking down the tomato soup. This is when I take the bay leaves out. If I see them. I mean, otherwise they'll get caught in the food mill anyway. I'll also need a bowl for catching all of the seeds and skin that come out. The honey strainer is kind of cool. It's got 2 strainers. The top one's very coarse, the bottom one's very fine. About the time that this one fills up, I go ahead and dump it into my pan. If you take a look at all of the solids that have come out of the food mill, they still have quite a bit of moisture to them, so I send it through one more time. The second time around is always a little bit harder just because there's not as much moisture to it. So you have to press it a little bit more. So if you look, you can see just how much additional pulp was in that. So I really feel like that's an important step. I don't actually throw these away because there's good chunks of vegetables all throughout it. It makes a really good base for a vegetable soup. Next, I'll check the thickness of my soup. At this point, it almost feels like a sauce, so that's a little bit too thick for me. So I'm gonna add some more of the juice back in. And it just kind of depends on how much you take out initially, how much you need to put in, or if you even need to put it in at all. It's kind of personal preference, how thick you want it. I like mine kind of thick anyways, just because I like to put cream in it when I eat it. Then I add 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of garlic, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. I then stir it together, and I'll move it to the stove and bring it to a simmer for 15 minutes. I then fill up my pint-sized jars to 1 inch of headspace. Headspace being the space from the top of your food to the top of the jar. Once filled, I need to wipe the top of the jars. And this just makes it so that any soup that has spilled on the edge of it won't inhibit the seal. And then I put the lids and rings on fingertip tight. Everything's really hot, so I have to be careful. To prepare the pressure canner, I'll put in 3 quarts of hot water. I then place in my jars and place and lock on my lid. My pressure canner is venting, so I'll set the timer for 10 minutes and continue to allow it to let that steam out. The venting is what creates the vacuum on the inside, and that's what makes it so that it processes at a higher temperature. For my pressure canner, this is the pressure indicator, and it's already gone up while it's venting, so that indicates that it has pressure inside the unit now. And now I'll add the weight, and I'll watch the gauge, and as soon as it hits 10 pounds of pressure, if I'm at sea level, now here at 1,200 feet, it'll be 11 pounds of pressure. Then I'll start my timer for 20 minutes. If at any point during this process it drops back below 11 for me, then I'll need to restart my timer back to 20 minutes. So I wanna make sure it goes above that 11. but I really don't want it to go above 15 because that gets high. So I tend to stick to 11 to 13 or so. Now that the time has elapsed, I'll just allow the pressure to come down naturally to 0. With the pressure gauge down to 0 and the pressure indicator off, I can take off my weight. And if there had been any residual pressure, it would vent out here at that point. So it's kind of a safety feature. And then I unlock my lid and take it off. And you always take it off so that the steam goes away from you. So you tip the lid towards yourself. And now I'll allow it to cool down for 10 minutes before removing them. And then I just remove the jars and put them on a heat-resistant surface. I like to leave them a couple inches away from each other so that they can cool down a little more quickly. And I'll let them sit for 24 hours before I remove the ring, and then I'll wash them, paying particular attention to the threads. Now all I need is a grilled cheese sandwich.